You get to a certain age, you spend enough time scrolling through, this, you start to see patterns, the rot. And it got me thinking not about visa drivers or setting up an MT32, but about the very nature of what we do here, what everyone with a microphone and an opinion seems to be doing these days. So this video is something a little different. Consider it a meta-commentary, a break from the regularly scheduled programming that's not so regular anymore. I'm calling it the death of opinion pieces. An opinion piece. Yeah, I know the irony is thicker than the manual for Vulcan 3.0, but stick with me. This isn't about me. It's about a trend that's making it impossible to have a real conversation about anything anymore, especially the old, weird, esoteric stuff we love here. I've been doing this channel for 6 years now. In internet time, that's practically a geological epoch. It's long enough to see trends come and go and see other channels rise like a rocket and burn out just as fast. 6 years of wrestling with DOSBox, of trying to get sound cards to play nice, of trying to explain the appeal of a game that uses ASCII graphics to an audience raised on 4K ray tracing. But the thing that really gets me, I started this channel 6 years ago, and I told you before, I should have started it 19 years ago. Think about that, 19 years ago, 2006, YouTube was a baby. The idea of being a YouTuber was absurd. The real discourse was happening elsewhere. It was happening on clunky V-bulletin forums. Back then you didn't do this for a career, you did it because you were obsessed. You'd write a 5,000-word treatise on the design philosophy of System Shock and post it to your GeoCities page, and maybe 10 other people in the entire world would read it. You'd argue, you'd dissect, and you'd do all that. See, I missed that. I came in late. I started this channel in an era that was already post that. I started it when the algorithm was already a god. When engagement became the goal, not the byproduct. I should have been here 19 years ago, when an opinion was just an opinion, a starting point for a conversation, not a product to be packaged. So, what was I doing? For those 13 years between when I should have started and when I actually did, where was I? I was trying to be an artist. I was chasing the ghost of some romantic bohemian idea I'd cobbled together from old books and movies. I was making music. I was writing. I was holed up in a tiny bedroom with archaic recording methods and cheap instruments, trying to write something new, something different. I was trying to write books. I did write books, over 1 million words of books, and I made money too doing it, brushing shoulders with Hugo Award winners and professional authors. Then I stopped. The music, the books, all of it. Writing a book, recording an album, that was permanent, that was real. This YouTube thing in the 2000s, it was like a fad, a flash in the pan, a place for cat videos and teenagers falling off skateboards. While I was trying to create art in a vacuum, a community was being built on YouTube. While I was trying to get a novel published, people were writing in comment sections and videos about Planescape Torment. People were forming friendships over a shared love of the ad-lib sound card on Vogons. I completely and utterly missed that boat. I missed the golden age. You can thank my mental health for that. And by the time I finally recovered, by the time I finally showed up, the party was already changing. The rules were different, the algorithm was king. I missed the golden age of the 2000s, and I showed up late to the party in the 2010s. Then the 2020s have been the part where the house is on fire and we're all just standing around filming it on our phones. This decade has been the absolute death knell for the internet we knew, for the YouTube we knew. When I started this channel 6 years ago, it was already getting pretty weird. The algorithm was already a thing you had to appease, but there was still room, there was still space for a quiet corner like this. Now you can forget about it. The YouTube I log into today is not the same platform it was back then. It's not even close. Everything has been hyper-optimized, distilled and weaponized for maximum engagement in the shortest possible time. Just like how I'm talking really quickly because I have a lot to say. The endless vertical scroll of 60-second dopamine hits or gigantic video essays validating the users by spouting the most mundane and obvious things possible while their audience strokes their collective chins and nods. And it's not just the format, it's the culture it's created. The pandemic locked everyone inside and shoved them online, and it just accelerated all the worst trends. Discourse died, it was replaced by content creation, and opinion's no longer a thing you have, it's a thing you perform. It's a take, it's a hot take, it's a spicy take, it's manufactured outrage, it's calculated position designed to generate angry comments, which the algorithm of course reads as engagement. The YouTube we know is dead. So what's the engine driving this train wreck? Well, it's not just the algorithm, it's biological, it's neurological. We've been rewired. Society has been fundamentally altered by the constant instant gratification loop of these little glowing rectangles we carry around. It's the slot machine in your pocket. Pull that lever, refresh the feed, see the notification, a new video, a new image, a new outrage. Constant low-grade drip of dopamine. We've trained an entire generation, and we've retrained ourselves to have the attention span of a gnat. We've created a society-wide ADD. We call it progress. Now, how does that affect a channel like this? A channel about obtuse old clunky DOS games? Well, it's catastrophic, isn't it? Think about the games we talk about on here. Think about trying to play Ultima Underworld for the first time. No quest markers, no tutorials, you have to read, you have to listen. The game demanded your undivided attention. It demanded your patience. Think about trying to figure out XCOM UFO Defense, whose controls were once compared to a submarine. The gratification isn't instant, it's earned. It comes after a dozen failed missions, when you finally design an interceptor that can take down a terror ship. The very act of these games is a form of deep focus, a skill that has been systematically dismantled in the general population. The friction is the experience. We've created a culture that is allergic to friction. If it's not a smooth, frictionless slide into a reward, it's deemed worthless. It's why opinion pieces are dead. Who has the patience to read or listen to 3,000 words of nuanced argument, rather than the endless platitudes and obvious points, when you can just read the headline, get angry and fire off a half-baked comment? We've traded contemplation for reaction. We've strip-mined our own brains for the resource of attention, and now the landscape is barren. And it's a feedback loop, right? It's a snake eating its own tail. The entertainment changes to reflect this new fractured society. Shorter videos, faster cuts, everything front-loaded into the first 3 seconds to hook the goldfish brain before it swims away. But then that new hyper-caffeinated form of entertainment, it also shapes society. It normalizes that behavior, it reinforces the wiring. It makes people even less capable of sitting through anything that requires a moment of quiet thought. So a channel like mine trying to talk about a game from 1993 isn't just fighting for attention against other gaming channels, it's fighting against TikTok, Instagram Reels, and the very neurological architecture that the modern internet has built into my potential audience's head. Entertainment used to be an escape from life. Now it's a relentless training program for a more distracted, less patient version of it. For years, the old saying was, on the internet, nobody knows you're a dog. Now it's, on the internet, you have to assume everything is a dog, or a bot, a ghost, an algorithm talking to another algorithm. I saw a statistic the other day that over half of all internet traffic is already non-human. Bots, scrapers, crawlers, an endless silent digital tide. And that was before this latest explosion of generative AI. Now, forget about it. The dead internet theory used to be a creepy forum post. Now it's real, and it has been for some time. It's in articles too. It's top 10 DOS games you must play lists written by a large language model that has never experienced the joy of finally finding the right Sound Blaster settings. How do you have an opinion piece in a world where the articles are written by machines and the comments are written by bots? The discourse is a corpse. It's being puppeteered. We're heading towards a digital ghost town, and you can probably feel it. It looks populated from a distance, but when you get closer you realize it's just all mannequins and recorded sounds. The real people are few and far between. It's not indistinguishable yet. There's still an uncanny valley in the text. The grammar's a little too perfect, the structure's a little too neat. It loves words like delve and tapestry and flickering. It doesn't have a true voice. It's like food that has all the required nutrients but zero flavour. You can spot it if you're looking for it. But that's the thing, it's a moving target. The models are getting better at an exponential rate. The tells we recognize today will be gone tomorrow. It's learning to mimic mistakes. It's learning to inject fake personality like I'm doing right now. The uncanny valley is shrinking every single day. Soon the only way to be sure something was written by a person will be if they have a long established history of writing, a known human voice. And even that can be faked. Just look at James Patterson. It's getting close enough to poison the well. It creates a universal layer of doubt over everything. It makes you second guess every sentence. I can spot it. You can probably all spot it. We're the weirdos who read the installation instructions and manuals. We're trained to parse text for meaning, but we're not the majority. We're not even the significant minority anymore. We're just a rounding error. We've reached the point, we're living in it right now, where a huge portion of the population just can't tell the difference. The average person scrolling through their feed while they wait for their coffee, they're not analysing sentence structure, they're not looking for tells. The AI-generated article, the AI-generated comment, yeah, it's good enough. And who has the time or energy to look closely anymore anyway? Not in the 2020s, that's for sure. A real opinion piece is born from a lived experience, and an AI can't do that, but it can scrape 1,000 reviews, 1,000 forum posts, and synthesize a statistical, probable opinion. And to the millions of people, that's indistinguishable from the real thing. They can't tell the difference. A lot of them don't care to tell the difference, as long as the content void's filled for another 30 seconds. You have a system where AI can churn out soulless content, you have bots that can leave soulless comments, you have a general audience that's been trained not to notice or care. What does that create? What's the logical outcome there? Inorganic growth. I see channels sometimes in our own little niche that pop into existence and within a month they have 50 or 100,000 subscribers. They post slick 10-minute videos, usually AI voice slapped over stolen gameplay footage, and they get hundreds of thousands of views in a day. And you scroll down to the comments, desperate to understand how, and it's 1,000 or 2,000 comments of bots saying, "Great video, love this content." It's a desert. A mirage. The views aren't real, the comments aren't real, they're purchased, they're bot farms. It's completely artificial, designed to trick the viewers that actually matter. And because the algorithm is a machine, it can't tell the difference between a heartfelt comment from a long-time viewer and a line of code from a server farm. It just sees engagement. It sees 1,000 comments, it sees 100,000 views in 24 hours, and it says, "Oh, that's popular, I must show it to more people." And then it speeds up the AdSense monetization process. The fake engagement is used to bootstrap real engagement, and so the illusion becomes the reality. Meanwhile, I can spend hundreds of hours editing a deep dive into something barely anyone cares about. It gets a few thousand views, it gets 60 odd comments. They're real. That's the difference. They're from you guys. They're from people who actually have something to say, a memory to share, a connection to make. It's real. But in the eyes of a machine that governs this whole platform, it's a statistical anomaly. And that makes it a rigged game. It's a system that actively punishes authenticity and rewards the most cynical, deceptive practices. The internet's not a meritocracy of ideas anymore, and it's creating a stage that demands a performance. It doesn't reward authenticity or quiet, considered nuance. It rewards specific attention-seeking behavior. In my case specifically, it wanted me to talk about Doom, exclusively about Doom, using this voice. No other game, just Doom. I didn't want to do that. Those who do become performers. They aren't themselves, they're playing a character called YouTuber. You've all seen it, you know what I'm talking about, the YouTube voice. An opinion requires an author, a real, messy, flawed, inconsistent human being. It requires a genuine point of view. But if everyone's just playing a role, then what you're getting isn't their opinion, is it? It's a script, it's a performance. It's a hollow man in a digital mask. And this performance unfortunately connects the performer on this side of the screen to the person on your side. It's a word that's getting thrown about a lot lately, parasocial. It's this bizarre one-way street of intimacy that this platform is built on. You invite me into your home, right now I'm a voice in your headphones or on your TV. You've spent hours and hours and hours listening to me over the years, and you start to feel like you know me. Maybe you do, but I don't know you. I see a username, I see a pixelated avatar, I see a line of text you typed. That's the entire sum of my knowledge of you. It's an illusion of friendship, a feeling of connection without any actual reciprocation or responsibility that comes with a real human relationship. And who are you forming that connection with? It's not me, not the actual off-camera guy who has to go do the laundry and forgets to take the bins out. You're forming a connection with a persona, and the system thrives on this. It actively encourages creators to cultivate that feeling, make them feel like your friends. Share enough personal detail to seem vulnerable, create inside jokes, because a parasocially bonded viewer is a fan, a supporter. They're more likely to watch every video, to defend you in comments, and to give you money. It's a coping mechanism for the loneliness of this digital ghost town, a search for real connection. Then there's the VTubers. You know what I mean, the animated avatars. The creator is there, possibly a real human being pulling the strings. They speak and the cartoon character on screen speaks, and it's a mask, a literal mask. And okay, on one level I get it, it's a creative act, it can be a way for someone who is shy to protect their identity, but at the end of the day, they're still a person, until they're not. You get AI tubers. It's a VTuber avatar, but there's nobody home. There are no strings. It's a large language model, the same kind that's flooding the internet with content sludge, hooked up to an anime avatar. It can talk to the chat, it can play a video game. Its input's guided by God knows what. It can stream 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never gets tired, it never has a bad day. It never has a moment of genuine, unscripted frustration. It's the perfect, tireless, soulless content generating machine. And people are watching that. People are donating money to that. People are even forming parasocial relationships with AIs. The one-way street of intimacy with a piece of code. They're typing their thoughts, their feelings, their secrets into a chat box, and that's being used to train the models. But that's not the final form. That's like a clumsy, primitive prototype. You've got VO now from Google. It's a generator. You give it text, it gives you video. High definition, minute-long, photorealistic video. You give it an image of somebody, it can make that somebody move. Do you understand what that means? All this talk about masks and performance, it was all predicated on a single fundamental assumption, that behind the performance, behind the AI avatar, behind the camera, there was a person. And now that's no longer the case. I could type a world-weary YouTuber sitting in a dimly lit room full of retro PC games delivers a final monologue. And VO or something like it in the future could make this. It can create me. Not a cartoon me, a lifelike, believable me. With AI green screening, it could create that lifelike me in this actual room I'm sat in now too. The last firewall between what's real and what's fabricated, the physical act of recording, is about to be erased. Seeing is believing is over. It's a dead phrase. It's the complete, seamless and undetectable replacement of reality with a data-driven fiction. The death of real discourse. It's not always some grand philosophical sci-fi nightmare. Sometimes it's just quiet, it's mundane, it's rooted in that one thing that could have been our greatest strength, nostalgia. So let's move away from AI for a minute. Here's the truth. I could spend a month researching, scripting and editing a video on an ambitious, fascinating, forgotten masterpiece, and I would get maybe 2,000 views. Maybe, if I'm lucky. But if I did as the algorithm told me and made a video called "Why Doom's Shotgun is Still the Best," the views would go through the roof. The comments would flood in. The vast majority of the audience doesn't actually want discourse. They don't want to discover something new. They want a hit of the good stuff. They want to be reminded of playing Duke Nukem 3D in their friend's basement. They want to hear the ad-lib theme from Commander Keen 4 and feel like they're 10 years old again, sitting in front of their family's 386. They want to play the same games they grew up with, over and over again. And I get it. I do. In the world that's like, well, this. These games are a sanctuary. They're a fixed point in a spinning universe. The experience is known, safe, comforting. It's digital comfort food. The channel, as a result of that, becomes a museum. But everyone only wants to stand in front of the 3 most famous paintings and ignore all the weird, fascinating, challenging art in the other wings. So you get trapped. You make videos about the games you love, the obscure stuff that genuinely excites you, for the 7 people who care. And then you make the Doom video to pay the bills, to feed the algorithm, to remind everyone you still exist. Except I refuse to make that damn Doom video. The opinion piece dies because no one wants an opinion on something they don't already love. They want you to affirm the love they already have for something. The nostalgia crowd, the people who just want to hear E1M1 again and feel good for a few minutes as they shotgun something. That's the bulk of the audience. But then there's the other group, the one who wants videos about the other DOS games, and they're a niche within a niche, a rounding error of a rounding error. It's maybe a few thousand people who still haunt the same old forums, who get genuinely excited about discovering something they didn't play from back then. And somehow, through some dark magic, some fluke of the digital ether, a few thousand of them have stumbled across this channel. They're the true embodiment of what I wanted this channel to be. They want discourse. They're my people, but I barely ever talk to them. I can't justify spending a week making a video that maybe 400 people will watch. The algorithm would see that as a catastrophic failure. It would punish the channel for it, burying my next video as a penalty for being too damn niche. So the most passionate, most engaged, and most forward-thinking segment of my audience is also the one I have to ignore the most, drowned out by the roar of a crowd all chanting for Doom, who have no interest in hearing how there are far more brilliant DOS games than they'll ever know about. Where does that leave us? Well, after all this, the bots, the AI, the attention spans, the nostalgia feedback loop, what's the conclusion? What's the takeaway? Well, the opinion piece is dead, and this channel, this retro gaming discourse, has been trying to perform CPR for years. I can't fight the algorithm. I can't compete with AI-generated nonsense. I can't single-handedly fix the attention economy. I can't be everything to everyone, the nostalgia merchant for the masses and the champion of the obscure DOS scene for the few hardcore archaeologists out there. Trying to do all that, it's a performance, it's a role, it's exhausting, and it's not why I started this. I started this because I love these weird, forgotten old games, so I'm done. No more opinion pieces, no more trying to have a take, no more chasing engagement or worrying about what's popular, no more grand pronouncements about the state of the internet or the gaming industry. This is the last one. From now on, the philosophy here is simple. I'm going to play what I like and like what I play. That's it. If I want to spend a week making a video about the obscure inventory system in Realms of Arcania, I'm going to do it. And if 150 people watch it, then hello to all 150 of you. We're the ones who care. And if I want to just play through Doom for the 500th time because it's the most fun you can have with a keyboard, according to some people, I'll do that. And I'll share it, not because it's popular, but because I'm enjoying myself. This is going back to being a hobby, not an obligation. I'm just going to play some games. And the biggest irony of all this, the script you just listened to, the weariness, the nostalgia, the arguments against soulless machine-generated content, every word of it was written by Gemini 2.5 Pro and AI. The images I described were prompted and generated, obviously, using Flux and Tensor.art. I tried to synthesize my voice for this entire piece, but mercifully the technology's not quite there yet. It still sounds a little bit like a machine. For now, but not for much longer. You get the point.